When I was a child, I always admired my mother for her flawless memory. She could remember names, dates, and every detail of our family life effortlessly. But something began to change a few months ago. At first, they were small details. She forgot where she had left her keys, confused the name of one of her nieces or nephews, or forgot what the next step was in a routine task. At the beginning, we thought it was normal, something that happens with age, but the lapses started to pile up. She forgot medical appointments, got confused while preparing recipes she had always made, and sometimes it seemed she could not remember a conversation we had had just a few minutes earlier. The most unsettling thing was seeing how frustration and confusion took hold of her. Every small lapse brought with it anxiety and a feeling of insecurity. Soon, my concern turned into fear. Could this be something more serious? Could it be Alzheimer's or another neurological disease? I began to notice how her independence was being affected. Things she used to do easily were now taking effort, and the idea that her memory might be deteriorating terrified me. That was when we decided to consult a neurologist. The appointment filled us with hope because he explained that not all memory lapses in old age are irreversible, and that with the right exercises, even simple and short ones, memory could be stimulated and concentration improved. And here was the promise that changed our perspective. An exercise of barely 60 seconds a day could make a difference in my mother's life. What followed was surprising. With consistency, dedication, and the right guidance, the changes began to appear faster than we had imagined. The memory that seemed to have faded began to regain strength little by little, and my mother once again felt confident and secure in her daily life. Before continuing, I want to ask you a very simple question. How old are you and from where are you watching me? I would love to know your story and your experience, because many times these problems do not only affect one person, but the entire family that accompanies them. The first signs of forgetfulness. It all began in an almost imperceptible way. My mother started forgetting small things, details that in the past seemed impossible for her to miss. At first, they were names of a niece or nephew, of a lifelong friend, even of neighbors she had seen for years. Then came the lost objects, the keys that were always in the same place, the glasses she left on the table, the handbag she carried everywhere. The curious thing was that these lapses were not constant. One day she could remember perfectly, and the next she got confused in a worrying way. In our family, the reaction was mixed. On the one hand, there was frustration, answering the same questions over and over again, searching for objects that always appeared in the most unexpected places, and adjusting our daily routine so that she could function without setbacks. On the other hand, concern began to grow silently. Was this simply normal aging, or was there something more behind it? That quiet doubt generated anxiety because there was no way to know how quickly things could get worse. The first concrete effects appeared in daily life. My mother began to miss medical appointments because she forgot them, got confused while preparing simple recipes she had made hundreds of times, and needed constant reminders for everyday tasks. What seemed trivial at first started to have small but significant consequences. My mother's sense of independence decreased, and with it, her confidence. Each lapse was a reminder that something was changing. As a family, we learned to adapt. We bought large calendars, placed sticky notes in strategic places, and began to repeat instructions patiently. But the truth was clear. We were reacting, not anticipating. We were correcting symptoms instead of understanding the root of the problem. This is one of the most common mistakes we make, waiting until the signs are too obvious before we act. Looking back now, I realize that identifying these first signs is crucial. Daily lapses should not be ignored or simply labeled as things that come with age. Each sign, no matter how small it may seem, can offer important clues about brain health. Addressing them in time not only allows preventive measures to be taken, but also helps preserve the person's quality of life and independence. That is why my mother's story is so important. Recognizing the first signs of forgetfulness allowed us to seek professional help before the situation became more serious. It taught us that memory is not something static. It can improve, it can be strengthened, and above all, it can be recovered if we act with knowledge, patience, and consistency. By closely observing these signs, we also learned something fundamental. Forgetfulness is not just a challenge for the person who suffers from it, but a challenge for the entire family. Empathy, understanding, and early action can make the difference between a silent decline and a path toward recovery. So, if you notice subtle changes in a loved one's memory, do not ignore them. Observe, keep track, and act before the small signs turn into bigger problems. The visit to the neurologist. After several months of watching my mother's lapses become more frequent and worrying, we finally decided it was time to see a specialist. The decision was not easy. On the one hand, there was hope of receiving guidance and reassurance. On the other, the fear of confirming that something serious was happening. However, we all agreed that postponing the visit would only increase our anxiety and my mother's. So, with the appointment scheduled, we went to the neurologist's office, a place that inspired confidence but also a certain uneasiness. The office was full of books on neuroscience, diplomas hanging on the walls, and an atmosphere that combined professionalism with warmth. The doctor greeted us with a calming smile, invited us to sit down, and began the conversation with a mixture of kindness and professional firmness. From the first moment, he made us feel that our concern was valid and that he was there to guide us, not to judge or alarm us. My mother, a little nervous, settled into the chair and tried to appear confident, although her hands were trembling slightly. The initial evaluation was simple but thorough. The neurologist asked us questions about the frequency and type of her lapses, observed her body language and ability to pay attention, and administered small memory tests. Everything seemed designed to obtain a clear picture of her cognitive state without generating unnecessary stress. As the evaluation progressed, the doctor began to explain the possible reasons behind the forgetfulness. He told us about the difference between normal aging and signs that might indicate more serious problems, such as attention deficits, accumulated stress, or early neurological diseases. The clarity with which he explained each possibility allowed us to understand that not every lapse is alarming, but that certain patterns deserve attention and action. Then came the most hopeful part of the consultation, the introduction to simple brain exercises. The neurologist explained that although age and some genetic factors influence memory, the brain has a remarkable capacity for adaptation and plasticity. With appropriate stimuli, it was possible to improve concentration, strengthen memory, and delay or mitigate the effects of forgetfulness. And this is where the star of the visit appeared. An exercise of only 60 seconds designed to stimulate key areas of the brain that control memory and attention. He assured us that, if practiced regularly, the results could be surprising and that consistency was much more important than duration. The explanation of the exercise was clear and direct. It did not require complicated materials or special equipment. It only required attention, daily dedication, and the willingness to commit to something that seemed small but had a potentially enormous impact. The neurologist emphasized that, although it was not a miraculous cure, it was a practical and accessible tool that anyone could incorporate into their daily routine, and that the benefits could be noticed within weeks if it was applied correctly. When we left the office, we felt a mixture of relief and motivation. Relief, because we had clear guidance and an understanding of what was happening. Motivation, because there was a concrete, simple, and effective strategy to act immediately. We understood that it was not just about monitoring the lapses, but about taking an active role in stimulating memory. My mother, although still nervous, was intrigued and willing to try, something that gave all of us a sense of hope and control. The visit to the neurologist not only gave us answers, but also provided a tangible action plan. We learned that sometimes small exercises can have a profound impact, and that facing the problem with information, discipline, and consistency is the best way to care for memory and quality of life. The promise of that 60-second exercise became our first concrete step toward regaining confidence and calm in the face of forgetfulness. The 60-second exercise. After the consultation with the neurologist, the time came to face the 60-second exercise. He explained that it was not complicated, but that it required concentration and consistency. He gave us step-by-step instructions, but briefly, creating a kind of suspense. You will see the results if you do it every day without skipping any session, and what seems simple is actually powerful. He did not reveal every detail at once. He told us that gradual practice and full attention were the key for it to really work. My mother received the instruction with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "Will just this really make a difference?" she asked as she turned the sheet with the directions in her hands. Her first reactions were typical of someone facing something new: insecurity, tiredness, and a slight discouragement. At first, it seemed like an impossible challenge to maintain concentration for a full 60 seconds, and even more so to carry it out correctly without losing track. Each session lasted less than a minute, but for her, it felt like an entire world. The first attempts were full of small difficulties. Sometimes she forgot the sequence, other times she was distracted by noises in the house or suddenly remembered another pending task. As a family, we tried to support her patiently, avoiding putting pressure on her, but at the same time, reminding her how important consistency was. We quickly learned that the key was not perfection, but doing the exercise every day, even if she only managed one correct attempt each time. During the first few days, the routine became a ritual. My mother would sit in the same place, adjust her posture, take a deep breath, and begin the exercise. Each session lasted barely 60 seconds, but the small achievements accumulated. She began to feel that she was doing something concrete to improve her memory, and although she was still skeptical, there was a spark of hope in her eyes. The daily practice, though simple, required discipline. We realized that consistency was more powerful than intensity. Even when she had difficult days, feeling tired or distracted, completing the exercise was enough to keep the momentum going. The routine became a small family ritual. Sometimes we accompanied her, other times she did it alone, but always with the feeling that she was investing in her memory, 1 minute at a time. And so, what seemed like a simple 60-second exercise began to turn into a habit, a moment that marked the beginning of a quiet transformation. Although the results were not yet obvious, she already felt different, more confident that she could do something to face forgetfulness, and with a concrete plan that did not depend on medication or complicated solutions. That small daily minute became a gesture of empowerment in the face of uncertainty. The first results. After a few days of steady practice, we began to notice subtle but significant changes. At first, they were tiny details that anyone might have overlooked, but for us, they represented a big step forward. My mother began to remember more clearly where she had left her keys or her phone, the names of family members she had previously forgotten often, and medical appointments that usually slipped from her memory. Every small success felt like a victory. The excitement this generated throughout the family was immediate. My mother appeared more confident and smiled more often, feeling less insecure when doing everyday tasks that used to cause her anxiety. Her body language changed. She moved more confidently, felt able to handle small responsibilities without our constant intervention. Even in everyday conversations, we noticed that she could follow the thread of ideas with greater clarity and speed. What surprised us most was how her motivation increased with each success. A recovered memory not only reinforced her confidence, but also made all of us more aware of the power of consistency. We realized that those 60 seconds a day were not trivial. They were a concrete stimulus that helped train her brain, strengthening neural connections and improving attention. Some days, the lapses still happened, but they no longer felt overwhelming. My mother began to correct herself naturally, remembering routine steps that previously went unnoticed. Each achievement, no matter how small, reinforced the idea that with patience and discipline, it was possible to regain some control over lost memory. Reflecting on this stage, we understood that the true key did not lie only in the exercise itself, but in daily consistency and focus. It did not matter if one day she was distracted or tired. What mattered was maintaining the habit, repeating it, and trusting that results would come. This experience taught us that, even in advanced age, it is possible to reactivate the mind and recover confidence 1 minute at a time. The emotional impact was enormous. Joy, motivation, and renewed hope transformed our perspective on forgetfulness. What had begun as an apparently impossible challenge became a tool that restored independence and peace of mind. Little by little, that 60-second routine became a beacon of security and control in the face of the uncertainty surrounding memory. Other benefits of the exercise. As my mother continued with her 60-second exercise, we began to notice benefits that went beyond remembering names or appointments. One of the most obvious changes was the improvement in her concentration. Before, any long conversation or task involving several steps made her lose track. Now, she could focus for longer, follow complex instructions, and retain information without feeling overwhelmed. The mental clarity that once seemed to have vanished was gradually returning, and with it, a sense of control over her daily life. Another important change was the reduction in anxiety and stress associated with forgetfulness. Previously, every lost object or forgotten appointment triggered immediate tension, worries, self-reproach, and fear that something serious was happening. With the daily practice of the exercise, those moments of panic decreased noticeably. My mother began to face her memory lapses with patience and without feeling that her mind was betraying her. The feeling of, "I cannot remember anything," was replaced by a calmer and more confident attitude. Independence was another direct benefit. Activities that had previously required our constant supervision, such as cooking, organizing the house, or preparing her handbag to go out, she now did on her own, with fewer mistakes and greater security. This not only freed up time for the family, but also gave my mother back her sense of autonomy, something she had gradually lost because of the lapses. Her self-esteem grew. She felt capable, useful, and in control of her life. The neurologist reminded us that although the 60-second exercise was key, other habits complemented its effects. Sleeping well, maintaining a balanced diet rich in nutrients that support brain function, engaging in regular physical activity, and socializing frequently were fundamental pillars to reinforce memory. He taught us that these habits not only help prevent cognitive decline, but also enhance the results of daily exercise. By integrating these practices, my mother not only improved her memory, but her overall well-being increased. She slept better, felt more energetic, and enjoyed social interactions more. The most important thing was seeing how a simple 60-second exercise could transform not only memory, but quality of life. Consistency created a cumulative effect that positively impacted her mood, her confidence, and her perception of herself. What began as an attempt to slow down forgetfulness became a path to a fuller and more mindful life, where each day brought new opportunities to exercise the mind and strengthen independence. Common mistakes people make. Although our journey with the 60-second exercise was positive, we soon discovered that many people make mistakes that limit the benefits of this kind of practice. One of the most common mistakes is trying complicated exercises without guidance. Many times, wanting to speed up results, people look for advanced routines or complex techniques without understanding how to carry them out correctly. This can cause frustration and early abandonment of the habit. At first, my mother also wondered whether she should complement the routine with more complicated exercises, but the neurologist insisted on simplicity. Less is more, as long as it is done consistently. Another frequent mistake is practicing inconsistently. Skipping days or losing the routine significantly reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. At the beginning, there were days when my mother was tired or distracted and postponed the practice. We learned that even one daily minute, done consistently, was much more effective than long but irregular sessions. Discipline and consistency are the true catalysts of results. A related mistake is believing that memory recovers all at once. Some people expect instant changes, and when they do not see them, they lose motivation. The truth is that progress is gradual, almost imperceptible at first. Patience is essential. Each day, every minute of practice helps strengthen neural connections, and results consolidate over time. Ignoring daily habits that affect memory is another frequent error. Constant stress, a sedentary lifestyle, lack of sleep, and a poor diet are factors that directly interfere with cognitive function. People who try mental exercises without addressing these aspects find that their results are limited. That is why the neurologist emphasized the importance of a comprehensive approach. Brain exercise, adequate rest, regular physical activity, good nutrition, and active social relationships. Finally, we heard stories of people who had made these mistakes and then corrected their approach. One woman, 75 years old, tried advanced exercises on her own and became frustrated. When she simplified her routine and practiced consistently, she began to see significant results. Another man, by incorporating complementary habits like daily walks and a balanced diet, enhanced the effects of his brain exercise. These stories remind us that the path to stronger memory does not depend only on one specific exercise, but on a combination of correct habits and patience. How to incorporate the exercise into daily life. One of the keys for the 60-second exercise to work is to incorporate it consistently into the daily routine. It is not about doing it once and then forgetting about it. Repetition and the right environment make all the difference. The neurologist recommended choosing a fixed time every day, preferably at a quiet moment with no interruptions or distractions. This helps the brain focus fully and maximize the benefits. Some people choose to do it right after breakfast, others before going to bed, and what matters most is maintaining consistency. Reminders can be very useful, especially at the beginning. Putting visible notes in the kitchen, using alarms on the phone, or even linking the exercise to another daily activity such as brushing teeth or taking medication helps ensure it is not forgotten and becomes a natural part of the day. For my mother, the most effective method was integrating it into her morning routine. While she prepared her coffee, she devoted 1 minute to the exercise, and little by little it became an automatic habit. Another way to enhance the practice is to combine it with family activities. Having a conversation while she does the exercise, playing memory games together, or reading short passages from books or news aloud reinforces memory and makes the moment pleasant and motivating. Social interaction activates the mind in a complementary way and strengthens confidence in her abilities. For example, on Sundays we held a small family reading club where my mother exercised her memory by recalling characters and events from the story, and the grandchildren joined in with fun questions that turned the exercise into a game. There are successful routines that show how daily integration increases the effectiveness of the exercise. Some people do it along with their morning stretches, others during brief pauses in household chores, and some even in the company of a neighbor or friend. The important thing is not the duration or complexity, but regularity and commitment. Each session, although brief, strengthens memory and provides confidence to face the day. The most important message is encouraging. It does not matter how old you are or how many lapses you experience, you can always improve your memory. The key is to take small steps, stay consistent, and not underestimate the impact of a simple but regular exercise. My mother showed us that even at 82 years old, with practice and patience, it is possible to regain clarity, independence, and confidence in daily life. Looking back, the transformation is clear. From constant lapses and anxiety about what might be Alzheimer's, we moved to days full of confidence, clear memories, and a feeling of control over life. What began as a daily worry became a process of learning, patience, and consistency. My mother not only improved her memory, but her mood, self-esteem, and independence were strengthened, and the family learned to support her with love and understanding. The story reminds us that patience is essential. Results do not appear overnight, but every small effort adds up. Consistency and daily repetition create profound changes, and family support is a catalyst that makes a big difference. Seeing my mother remember details, names, and everyday routines without stress taught us that emotional support is as important as any brain exercise. For those facing lapses at home, the message is clear. Small steps can make a big difference. Do not underestimate simple exercises, integrating them into the routine and staying consistent. Every minute devoted to memory is a minute gained in autonomy, peace of mind, and quality of life. Combining these exercises with healthy habits such as good rest, a balanced diet, physical activity, and social interaction significantly enhances the results. Before we say goodbye, I want to remind you of something important. Share your age and where you are watching me from. Tell us about your experiences with memory and the exercises you have tried. And do not forget to subscribe to receive more practical tips to improve brain health and quality of life in later years. Every story you share not only helps us learn from one another, but also strengthens our community. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey. Remember that memory can improve, independence can be regained, and everyday life can be fuller with consistency and love. Until next time, take care of your mind, take care of your life, and never stop taking those small steps that make all the difference.